What's up, guys? Dr. Nicole here. Just surviving the polar vortex of 2019, and so many things I've been wanting to come on and share with you guys and talk about. And today something really, really profound and important came up, and I wanted to share it. And one of the things that brought this to light is that I know a lot of business owners who don't want to call themselves entrepreneurs. They call themselves small business owners. I own my own company, but I don't hear a lot of people who use the word entrepreneur. And I kind of find that interesting, because to me, it's kind of like the word is when you are an employee and you can't really like fit in a way. Is, you know, in my opinion, that you're an entrepreneur because you're different, and you go into business because you want to do things differently, because you know you're an entrepreneur, etc., etc., etc. So what I was talking about today with my husband, don't tell him I shared this, you pinky swear, was that he had a performance review that he was not super stellar about. He's an engineer in the auto industry. He works so hard. He's got 23 years in. He's super smart. He's the epitome of engineer. He's hyper organized and very analytical and logical, does his job extremely in an extremely focused manner, and takes it really seriously. And he manages a few documents to the level of organization that's almost annoying, like the size of the font and the type of circle that goes in the Excel files, like things that most of us don't even notice. And he wasn't all that thrilled about his performance review. And I was talking to him about it, and he plans to have his own business coming up in the next few years. And that's one of the things I thought about, was performance reviews. And I thought, geez, that's a really good reason to go into business for yourself, is when you feel like you're doing everything you can to the level that you can, and you're not being recognized by colleagues, superiors, management, supervisors, upper management, whatever it might be. And they don't recognize how much work and heart you put in. That's the number one reason why people often become entrepreneurs, is because they do work hard, they do take their job seriously, and they're totally underappreciated. And if this is you, seriously, I encourage you to think about if you've ever thought, I could do things better, I could do things differently. I don't really approve of the politics and the silos of everything working, and that was totally me. I often got pretty good reviews. My supervisor was, always had lots of good things to say about me, so that wasn't my problem. It was more a matter of politics that really discouraged me. And the same number one thing that bothered me as an employee is the number one thing that I love as an entrepreneur, as someone who is running my own business and doing things in a way that nobody else is doing, in a way that makes sense to me. And it doesn't necessarily have to make sense to other people. That's the beauty of it too. So, performance reviews. The number one first reason I want to talk about why you might be an entrepreneur at heart, but you might not recognize it. The second thing is policies and procedures. I kind of tapped into this, what I just talked about. But when you realize that policies and procedures take precedence over the logical flow of your workday, then, and you know that that's not right, that's another good reason why you might be future entrepreneur. Hate to say it, guys. I know a lot of you out there don't want to use that word, but future business owners, someone who's going to run your own business, because all the red tape. This is something I remember when I first became a professional physical therapist. My mom always said, the red tape, actually it was in school. When I was in PT school, my mom always said it's the red tape that's going to drive you insane, and she was absolutely right. So policies and procedures that make absolutely no sense, another reason why you might be someone who should be in business for yourself. So performance reviews that you don't really agree with, policies and procedures that don't really make sense for workflow. The third thing is if you're someone who really, really, really loves to give. This is not something you would think of, but if you're someone who loves to give, that is another reason why you might be someone who's perfect for going into business for yourself, running your own business, being an entrepreneur, whatever words you want to put in there. Is that as someone who runs your own business, who is an entrepreneur, you're focused on the giving when that's how you work. You're focused on how can I serve my audience better. You're continually thinking about that, always, always, always. You're not thinking about what can I get out of them. It's how can I serve them. This is Gary Vee's primary principle. This is one of the reasons I love him. This is based off of the principles of the Go-Giver. I don't remember the author, but it's a book that I just bought, I haven't read yet, but I'm super excited, and it's something that both my mentor and my marketing person both encourage me to often do, is be a giver in how I proceed, is to give, so that people want to interact with you and you can serve them, and the exchange of how you do that is through money. But you must give a lot before you ask, and that's the only way that it really, really works and it feels authentic. So if you're a giver and you feel like your capacity to give has run dry, has been limited, has too many barriers, that's another reason why you might be the perfect entrepreneur, why you would probably love being in business for yourself, is that you could primarily focus on how, when, and in what capacity you're continuously giving. That's how you find fulfillment. That's how I find fulfillment, is when I'm giving and people are accepting and they are appreciative. To me, that means more than any paycheck ever could, because that's what fills me up. That's what keeps me going. I had a cushy job. I had a regular paycheck. That didn't keep me going. It was because I wasn't giving in a way that I felt connected to and authentic with. So again, if you are a giver and you feel like your capacity to give is running dry, definitely might be something to consider, that you are someone who should be in business for yourself. So, what's up, Damon? How you doing, man? I'm talking about giving today. So just to summarize, if you are someone who potentially should be in business for yourself, entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you want to call it, the three main things that I consider are prerequisites and necessities is when you realize that your performance review doesn't reflect what you're really doing and you don't agree with how you are assessed. Secondary, policies and procedures that don't make sense for your workflow. If politics run your day versus being able to carry out what you want to do, it's another good reason that you're probably someone who would really be best served in business for yourself. And finally, if you're a giver, if you are someone who just wants to give and give and give, and you find that you're running out of capacity, or you're running into red tape, into brick walls with your giving, then you probably should be in business for yourself, because that's what you can build your principles of business on, is giving, serving the people whom you feel you can best serve. And it feels good because you give and they accept and they receive and they say thank you. And just as I was saying before, Damon, was that a paycheck is not sustainable when it comes to people who are givers. It's that exchange of energy of people accepting what you want to give and appreciating it, receiving it, and saying thank you. And no amount of money will ever replace how much I love serving others in a way that means something to me. it comes back and it feels fulfilled. And the way you exchange that after time, after you've given so much, and you then say, I have something that I would like to sell you, is they pay you in money, which is just another exchange of energy. But it's super important to be giving in your business model if you're a giver, and to really, really honor that. So this all spun from my husband having a bad review, and it really, really getting to him. And he's a giver, and it just like, it really brought to me like how important it is to really identify what's important to us and to pursue it. And how we live our lives, how we make our money, how we do everything every single day. It's a really big thing that has to do with career and how we pursue it. Damon. Absolutely, build it the way you want, to give what you want to, serving those the way you want. Yeah, you kind of get to call the shots in a way, because what you're doing, and Damon, you probably agree with this, and so many others that will watch this in the future, is you find out who you want to serve and how you want to serve them, and you laser focus on them, and that's like how you move forward with your business model. Ooh, energy vampires. Ooh, yeah, Damon's talking about energy vampires. Oh, as a super empath, I can tell you that energy vampires do exist. Who is it? It's not Louise Hay, because she passed, but gosh, I'll have to post it on here. There's another woman, a physician, who talks about super empaths and energy vampires and how important it is to be able to identify them and protect yourself from them, especially when you're a giver. And that's another thing, that being in business for yourself is being able to quickly identify and bring in a situation that works for you. What's up, Molly? How you doing today? So, again, one more time to summarize, someone who is in business for themselves, or should be in business for themselves, the entrepreneur mindset, 3 big things. Getting reviews that don't reflect the appropriate workload and commitment to your work. I'm glad you're doing good, Molly. Policies and procedures that are disruptive to your workflow. And finally, if you're a giver, being in business for yourself just means you get to give in the capacity that makes sense to you and comes back to you. I would love to know, so Damon talked to me about building things the way you want, giving in the way you want to. Molly, I'd love to hear from you as well, and other people watching in the future, is how does that look to people who are in business for themselves, and how would that look like for people who are considering it? How would you serve a particular population? What would that look like? What would it feel like? And I really want to start talking to people who are on the cusp of going off on their own, because that's what I needed, was that little extra push of someone from the other side. My mentor, Aaron LeBauer, he was on the other side, and he said, it's safe over here, it's okay, you can do it. And so I crossed that bridge, and now I love it. I'm doing things daily, weekly, that warm and fill my heart to the point where sometimes it's just gonna explode, because I feel thankful. I feel so thankful every day that I'm living that. And it's not easy, you guys, right? Like, I don't want to sit on here and say, oh my God, it's so easy. You know, it's hard, but it's deep and it's rich and it's fulfilling. It's worth it. And as much as I was frustrated with all of those things I just talked about that some people struggle with, those are the things I struggled with. As frustrating as those were, that's as rewarding as it is. And guess what? I gave myself a stellar performance review. My company of one, I had an awesome holiday party, you guys. My dog, she didn't enjoy it so much, but it's a whole other story. So I would love to hear from people who are doing it, and I would love to hear from people who are considering doing it, because you already know if you're frustrated with the policies, the procedures, the politics, the silos, the things that disrupt what you really want to do. You already know that, even if you're not voicing it. And if you start to voice it and you start to have conversations with people who are on the other end, it might be a little less scary to take that leap. And then what we might end up with is more people who are fulfilling their purpose, who are enjoyable to be around because they have more joy and they feel more abundant. You know, that would be amazing to start to live in a society where we see those things, because people have crossed those barriers and they're pursuing their dream instead of just dreaming it. So I would love, Molly, Damon, if you guys know someone who's teetering with taking that leap onto the other side, I would encourage you guys to reach out to them. And anyone in the future watching this, that's what I would love for you guys to do, is reach out to someone who's on the fence. And even if it's someone who's crossed over but they're struggling, reach out to them and support them in some way. If you know that they need help in some way, I encourage you to reach out to them today, sometime this week, and give that support that maybe they could use to either continue or to take the leap. All right? I am so thankful that you guys are sharing with me what's going on with your lives. I wanted to come on and share my few thoughts with you guys, so I appreciate that. I'm gonna get going. It's minus 31 with a wind chill here. Damon, you're up north. I'm sure it's much, much colder. Molly, I don't know what's going on in Texas, but a lot of us are really working hard to stay warm right now. And I just encourage you that, oh, thank you for being you. Oh, thank you. That makes me feel good. Thank you for being you. Thank you for, Molly and Damon are both in the boot camp. I love this. We're going to talk about anatomy coming next week, which is my favorite topic, you guys. So I'm going to get off the hook geeked out about anatomy in the boot camp on Sunday. So thank you, Molly. Upset with policies and procedures that limit your ability to treat patients. Can we get like a mic drop? I have nothing to add. Perfectly stated. It's food for thought. I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna end the video because it was so perfect, Molly. Stay warm. Keep being you. Warm here at 55, I love it. Be you, be true to yourself, find what makes you happy, share it with someone else, and then let me know. Let me know when you guys share it with someone and you support or encourage someone. You can comment, you can DM me, whatever, but I would love to hear about it. All right, I'm gonna sign off because I had such a great ending to that, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Bye.